Hello, welcome to part 2 of our training series. This video will cover Cove installation using the CM6007 epoxy coating. The first step is to prime your areas in which your Cove is going to be built. Shown here, it's important to make sure to get the epoxy into every crevice and corner where you're going to be putting the Cove. This will help the Cove stick to the wall and the floor, as well as cover up those edges that are going to be harder to reach once the Cove is down. Once you're finished priming, the next step is to make your mortar mix. For CM6007, it's a 2-to-1 mix, sand to mix epoxy. Here you see the applicator using his tool to apply the mortar liberally into the Cove recessed areas. You'll smooth it out afterwards, so right now just worry about getting the Cove mix onto the wall and floor. Once all the mix is on, this is how it'll roughly look after your first pull with the tool. But go ahead and make sure you apply all of the Cove before you really start putting in the work to smooth it out. One thing our applicator does here is removing the excess Cove mix that is not going to be needed in order to smooth out the edge. Once all of the excess material is removed, you're now ready to really start smoothing out this edge. At this point, you want to compress the Cove mix as much as possible before you bring in your solvent to really smooth it out. Here the applicator makes sure to get any excess material off, and once he sees that it's not really moving in anymore, it's time to bring out the solvent. You can see here his little quart cup of solvent being used to wet out the spatula. This allows you to pass the spatula over the epoxy, compressing it more while not letting any of it stick onto the spatula. That's what will create your smooth surface. Remember not to over apply solvent, as that can cause your mortar to actually sag out from the wall or not cure properly. The solvent is just mainly used to wet out the spatula or tool or trowel that you're going to be using. After each step of an epoxy install, but especially for the Cove, make sure to clean up. This is the finished product. Alternatively, there are radiuses Coves, and this is that tool being used. It creates a bigger Cove. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure to watch the other videos on the epoxy training series to see how you can create this kind of finish. Thank you.